Clipping is very important for making your animal look its best. Having a good clip job exemplifies the best parts of your animal and also hides some of its flaws. Learning to clip takes time and practice, but is well worth it. Before starting, the cap needs to be clean and fully dry. It is helpful to spray some conditioner or sheen in to soften the hair for clipping. You'll need detachable clippers with a blocking blade, blending blade, number 10 blade, and guards. Remember to frequently oil your blades to prevent dulling. I always start on the tailhead with a blending blade. Clipping the tailhead properly makes the animal look square-hipped and flexible. Run your hand up until you hit the twist, the spot where the back legs meet. Hold there. Place one fist on top of that spot. Make a ring around the tail to mark the spot. Take the clippers and start with the edge of the blade at the center of the tail. Clip all the way down to the skin, twisting the blade to the side of the tail as you move up. Repeat it on the other side. You should have a mohawk shaped like a V on the tailhead. Next, clip up the tailhead to make a straight line perpendicular to the ground. Make sure the tail is flat against their butt when clipped, otherwise it won't lay correctly when they put their tail down. I get it as straight as I can with the clippers, but I don't get too picky because it will get recut with scissors later when it is fitted to get it perfectly straight. Go over the edges of the mohawk with the clippers to make the fin tight and symmetrical. Pull up the hair on the tail. Blend the longer tail hair into the ring you just cut. Sometimes I like to take the hair on the sides of the tail down short. The thinner the tail is, the wider their butt looks. Never cut hair off the switch. Next, clip the top line with a blocking blade. Clipping the top line makes the animal look flat-topped and wide. When clipping the top line, the goal is to make the back completely flat except for the tail head, which should poke up slightly. To do that, cut the hair shorter in the high spots and leave it longer in the low spots. Make sure to continuously comb the hair to see how it lays at different angles while clipping. When starting the top line, you always want to clip forward. Start at the back of the tail head and clip forward just past their jump muscle. Start with one line down the middle to find the right depth. You can actually take the hair down quite short. Use many strokes to take off a small amount at a time until you have the perfect depth. Leave a little extra on the top of the tail head to make it poke up a little bit. Just like before, get it close with the clippers, but clean it up with the scissors when fitting. Once the line is set, begin clipping outwards. It should be flat across the top. Round off a little bit of the edge to make the shorter hair blend with the longer hair so there aren't noticeable lines, especially on cattle with discolored or sun-bleached coats. Stop just past the jump muscle. We'll skip the middle section of the top line and come back to it later. Pick up over top of the shoulders. Just like on the back half, make a line to get the correct depth. When you go to flatten it out, you can round it off more than on the back. Stop just past the shoulders. It's hard to judge the correct depth in the middle, so we saved it until last. Make one big stripe from the back end to the front end to match the depths in as straight a line as possible. Flatten it out and round the edges like before. When you think you're done, step back and take a look for any spots that you might have missed or need to be smoothed out. When I clip the neck, I clip it in a lot of different pieces, then bring it all together and smooth it out in the end. Just like the top line, the neck should be a straight line, but still blend smoothly into the shoulders. The high point on the neck is its crest. It should be the shortest there. It's important to leave the area behind the ears where the halter line is long. If you can extend the shape of the neck up to their pole, it makes them look long and skinny necked. With a blocking blade, set the line up the neck, then round it off on the sides. Take a lot off as you round so it looks smooth. Once the top part is done, change your blade to a blending blade. Starting at the chin, back drag all the way down the throat. Go over it a couple times to make sure you got all the stray hairs. Turn the clippers around and pull the clippers towards yourself to blend the short hair you just clipped into the longer hair on the rest of the neck. Next, get a number 10 blade and a 3/8 inch guard. Imagine a line from the ear going straight down. Clip everything below the halter line and in front of the imaginary line. Some people freehand this area with a blending blade, but unless you're really experienced, it's easy to nick them if they wiggle. Make sure to go over it in multiple different directions so you don't miss any stray hairs. Last, we'll clip the side of the neck into the shoulder. You can use either a blocking blade or a blending blade. A blocking blade will cut faster, but a blending blade will be more forgiving. Clip the hair on the neck, blending it into the areas we previously clipped. It should be around 3/4 inch long for reference. Comb it continuously to see how it looks when it lays differently. Once the side of the neck is done, move into the shoulder area. It should flow smoothly from the neck into the shoulders so the calf doesn't look coarse-shouldered. If you could look at the calf from above, the goal would be to look aerodynamic in its front. Next, I'll clip the chest floor with a blocking blade. The goal is to make the chest floor parallel with the ground. Just take the tips off the hair to give it a solid line for your eye to follow. This will actually make the calf look deeper bodied because it looks like belly instead of hair. Also clip any hairs off the sheath with a number 10 blade. Next, I clip the butt and quarter with a blocking blade. The goal is to make the top part of the butt flat so the calf looks square-hipped. The lower part should round into the quarter to make the calf look muscular. Start beside the tail where we made the ring. Clip up to where the tail joins the body. Go over it a couple times to find the right depth. It can be pretty short, like the back. Once you have the correct depth, clip outwards to make it flat. Clipping out makes the butt look wider like you want on a market animal. Stop when you get to where the tail has hair. Clip the hair on the sides of the hock without taking it too short because you still need enough hair to fit there later. Stop just above the hock. It's important not to clip too high. Smooth out the transition between the quarter and the leg. Clip a round shape into the quarter. You shouldn't really take much off, just the tips of the hair to give it a round shape. Blend it into the upper butt. The last step to clipping a steer is the head. Most of the head is done with the number 10 blade. Just a bit up around the pole is done with a blending blade. Put the head through the chute and run a spare halter under their chin to keep their head up. I like to put on a wire show halter to control their head and use it as a guide for where to clip. Clip all the whiskers around their nose and anything above the halter line except their eyelashes. Go over it in multiple directions to avoid streaks. Stop just before their poll. Use a blending blade to blend it into their ears and poll. The poll should come up to a small point. Clipping isn't easy, but every time you do it, you'll learn and get better.